Porn. 68% of church-going men watch it secretly, hiding this vice from their wife. For other men, it's drugs or drinking. Are you willing to risk your marriage, family, and finances for sinful pleasures and vice? Or are you ready to fight back? If you're a married businessman or entrepreneur, caught in the clutches of drinking, drugs, or jerking off, realize that every moment spent in these vices are literally destroying your life. And if you keep going this way, you'll lose the last shred of respect that your wife might still have for you. And what about the memories that your kids will have of their dad? Is this the kind of man that God's called you to be? To live like this? Millions of American men today find their lives in shambles because of chasing cheap thrills and pleasure. I know because that was almost me. In my early 20s and 30s, I worked tirelessly to build a thriving fitness business and become one of the most popular YouTube channels worldwide. But behind the scenes, a secret drug addiction sent my world into a tailspin. I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad revenue, sponsorship deals, partnerships, product sales, and goodwill, all while I was busy getting high. And my wife, she silently suffered as I put her through the pain of nearly breaking our family. I was not the man she married, and it broke my heart when she showed me how I was failing to keep her and our 4 children safe. Then I had a dream where I heard a voice that said, "Elliott, you're about to lose everything." It wasn't easy, but by the grace of God, I was able to turn things around. My journey revealed the root cause of my failures and a critical missing piece hidden from men for at least 3 generations. I emerged from the shadows, reborn, and with a new mission. I'm here to show you exactly what I learned to help you never succumb to that secret vice you're hiding and reclaim your life for good. What I'm about to tell you has the power to change the way you see yourself as a man and how your wife, children, and other men relate to you forever. The fact is, we're a generation of men molded and shaped under the dominant influence of women. Our guiding voices, mostly feminine. Our education, female-centric. The seismic shift that feminism brought has come with a shadow side, fatherlessness. And I'm not just talking about men from broken homes or deadbeat dads. Even if your father was present, chances are he was engrossed in work or himself a victim of his frailties, leaving you to navigate the journey of manhood on your own. In reality, every man today is basically fatherless. And as we stand, we're in the throes of a matriarchy where women are at the helm and men are sinking. As a result, men today are plagued by effeminacy. In other words, addiction to pleasure and avoidance of self-mastery. If you watch porn, chase women, binge drink, smoke weed, vape, eat junk food, play video games, procrastinate, are lazy, moody, or easily bored, you are effeminate. Look at it this way. Adam's fall in the Garden of Eden was marked by unchecked effeminacy, a trait now hardwired into our fallen nature. Adam allowed his wife to be seduced by Satan, then his children became sexual deviants, and his own life bound to labor for little return. And just like Adam, unchecked effeminacy will destroy your life. Your wife, she'll leave you for another man. Your children turn queer, and your business will collapse, leaving you in financial ruin. And if you think that sounds crazy, remember, nearly 70% of divorces are initiated by women. Nearly 16% of Gen Z identified as LGBT, and that number is growing every year. And 48% of businesses fail after the first 5 years. But this doesn't have to be you. Thankfully, our ancestors mandated that men rein in effeminacy. Otherwise, you or I, we wouldn't be here. Traditional masculine initiation. It was a standard rite of passage for all men across all cultures until the Industrial Revolution about 200 years ago. As fathers left home to work in factories, its practice fell by the wayside. Boys were left to their own devices, raised solely by their mothers, and eventually left to be emasculated by the schooling system. Researchers discovered that every traditional culture followed the same pattern for masculine initiation. First, there had to be a kind of inner death, or what they would call a clean break from the world of the mother. In other words, anything that keeps a man weak or childish, including sinful pleasures, sensual gratification, drinking, drugs, jerking off, vice. And only then was a man free to experience a kind of rebirth through what they called atonement with the Father. This is really about becoming the virtuous man that God has called you to be. In other words, as St. Paul says in Ephesians, that you should put away the old self of your former way of life and put on the new self created in God's way of righteousness and holiness of truth. But so long as a man is unaware of his need for this kind of initiation, he remains boy-like in his attachment to sinful vice and void of mature masculine virtue. There are 3 steps required to make this passage. The first of these steps is to create what they would call a clean break. In the past, a man might be removed from the tribe and taken up to a mountain somewhere to create this sort of pattern interrupt. But for us, we interrupt the cycle of vice in your life by observing, isolating, and redirecting any bad patterns that lead to sinful habits, which are keeping you from evolving as a man. Most men today who are trapped in addiction or vice never identify the patterns of their attachment. And as a result, no matter how hard they try to break free, they're usually seduced and sucked right back into the cycle of vice. So instead, we give you the tools and accountability to pinpoint triggers and recognize bad patterns so we can totally annihilate them in the next step. The initiation process, which is a set of challenges that are designed to kill what we call your inner punk. We begin the process with fasting, abstinence, and rites of passages that force you to grow into a master of self-control. Now, without a challenging initiation process that forces a man to triumph, he never grows to know his true free self. So instead, we put you through a rigorous course of action that builds strong, masculine virtue so you never doubt yourself again. And on top of that, we start laying the foundation for your new mission in life. Step 3 is what I call king transformation. In this stage, we work with you on becoming the strongest version of yourself in fitness, finances, family, and faith. King transformation is an integration process where you become the fully self-actualized, well-balanced man. This is where you supercharge your life and make your vision, mission, and vocation 100% consistent with the man that God's called you to be in this life. And at the end of your initiation process, you'll emerge a stronger, more virtuous leader in your family and business, free from vice and admired by those who matter most to you. And you'll achieve all this without going to rehab, speaking to therapists, or getting in touch with your feminine side. On the other side of your initiation, you'll revive the spark of your marriage, fueling passion and intimacy, while gaining respect and a deeper understanding from your wife, palpable from the first interaction, post-transformation. You'll become, without delay, your woman's rock, her strength, and her inspiration. Shortly after my initiation, my wife and I renewed our vows, and she looks at me now with awe and admiration. And John, whose marriage was on its last leg, but now he and his wife hold hands on dates. And Brock, whose wife is more receptive to him and gives him space to achieve all his biggest dreams. And Gerald here, who discovered the secret to turning his wife's complaints into pure adoration. Your whole family will feel the difference. You'll win the respect and admiration of your children, becoming their personal superhero the moment you walk through the door. You'll represent your family's standard for powerful masculinity and wisdom, all while fostering a sense of unity, love, and respect that will dynamically transform your family bonds instantly after your transformation. In your business, you'll see your vision and strategies executed with newfound efficiency and effectiveness, skyrocketing profits as you inspire your team and win their respect with your newfound magnetic leadership. In your personal life, you'll enjoy the self-confidence and positivity that comes with being in great shape as you start living a healthier life from day one. During my initiation, my body transformed too. But it's not just me. Jack quit drinking and got ripped. Ethan here lost 100 pounds. But most important of all, you'll gain a sense of peace and contentment as you live your life in harmony with your Christian values, which will increase your ability to love and serve others. You'll finally be walking in the light of Christ, filled with His Holy Spirit, giving you guidance and wisdom in every decision you make. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but traditional masculine initiation and spiritual transformation has worked for millions of men for thousands of years. So why wouldn't it work for you? And the longer you wait, the more you risk creating distance in your marriage, robbing it of the passion and intimacy it deserves, while your family misses out on experiencing the strongest version of you. So it's really simple. Complete the short survey below this video, and you'll be directed to my calendar. Here, you can easily schedule a 45-minute tactical breakdown meeting with me or my team. During our meeting, we'll dive deep into your circumstances, focusing on your specific vice. We'll identify and address the key roadblocks hindering your progress and clarify your ideal situation. I'll walk you through how the program works, and together we'll determine whether joining forces in this battle is the right course for both of us. Ultimately, the meeting is centered around you, providing you the space to make an informed decision. We limit intake to just 24 participants each month to maintain an intimate and personalized program. So depending on when you're viewing this, there may be immediate availability, or you might need to commence at a later date, which will be determined once we meet. Now, if you're asking, what if it doesn't work for you? Listen, the only way it doesn't work is if you don't work. Although every man's initiation and mission in life is different, on the other side of this experience, there will be a major, palpable shift in your life. As a result, I don't offer any guarantees, except that I will work for you for as long as it takes to see positive results in your life. And if you're wondering what's included, although we'll cover that at length in our call, you should know that there are trainings, coaching, and community. Because with us, accountability is key. We want to ensure that once you put your hand to the plow, you actually follow through with your commitment. Listen, as your brother in Christ, I want to assure you that I don't subscribe to pagan notions of luck or coincidence. I firmly believe in God's providence. And if you're watching this right now, consider it the sign you've been waiting for. I've walked in your shoes. I understand your struggle. And I also know your potential for transformation, just like the other men who were stuck in vice but are now victorious. Remember, the way you make decisions today will determine your tomorrow. I'll see you on the inside.